Hello, good morning. My name is Maria José Ferreira. I'm the Director of Research and Quality and Head of the Laboratories of CTCP, the Portuguese Footwear Research and Technology Center. I'd like to congratulate AMF SAFETY SHOES, TOWORKFOR and ALOFT for conceiving and organizing this amazing Safety Footwear Revolution Week. For me, it's both an honor and a pleasure to be part of this revolutionary and very complete event. A special thanks to Engineer Albano Miguel Fernandes, the company's CEO. Today, I will introduce you to agile, sustainable processes for footwear certification and environment footprint estimation. So, what are the main steps to certify personal protective footwear in line with the Personal Protective Equipment's European regulation? The first step is to define your targets in terms of professionals that could use the footwear. This helps to define the protection to be provided and the standard to choose. There are two main international and European standards: IN ISO 20345 for safety footwear and AN ISO 20347 for occupational footwear. The main difference is that safety footwear requires a safety toe cap, and occupational footwear has no toe cap. According to these standards, footwear is classified as Class 1, 2 or hybrid. Class 1 includes footwear made from leather and other materials. Class 2 includes all rubber or all polymeric footwear, and hybrid includes hybrid molded or hybrid constructed footwear. These standards specify basic and additional protection requirements for general purpose footwear, including mechanical risks, slip resistance, anti-static properties, oil resistance, and ergonomic behavior. The basic requirements target the main footwear parts, namely the upper, linings, insock, tongue, outsole, and whole footwear. Depending on the model and its complexity, up to 50 requirements can apply. Footwear fulfilling the basic requirements is marked with the category SB. With the aim of conferring adequate protection for special applications, up to 12 additional requirements may be claimed, namely perforation resistance, electrical properties, resistance to water, oils, heat or cold, among others. For each additional protection requirement, a specific symbol is defined. Footwear fulfilling the requirements set is marked with symbols appropriate to the protection provided. For example, P for footwear featuring perforation resistance to nails. Complementarily, where applicable, the appropriate category is marked. In the case of AN ISO 20345, SB if only basic requirements are embedded, or the top category, S3, if it is a Class 1 footwear and features closed heel area, energy absorption of the heel area, anti-static properties, water penetration and absorption, perforation resistance, and cleated outsole. Other risks are covered by complementary job-related standards, for example, footwear for firefighters, protection against chainsaw injuries, among others. To certify the personal protective footwear according to these standards, you need the services of an European certification organism like the Portuguese one, APICCAPS. The process is very practical and basically requires that you provide samples of footwear duly referenced and marked, a document with the product data and the informative flyer that will be offered to the user to explain the product's characteristics and give advices. The documentation is analyzed, the footwear tested in an accredited lab to confirm the requirements are met, and a certificate issued. The validity of the certificate is 5 years and can be easily renovated if the product standards and regulations remain the same. APICCAPS implemented a fully digital process, providing an effective and efficient certification service. Don't hesitate to contact if you need additional information. In order to achieve a smooth certification process, it is fundamental to conceive well the models and select, test, and define the right materials. CTCP can support and speed up these processes. CTCP serves a range of consumer product industries, including footwear, leather goods, rubber and plastics, footwear machinery, and software. CTCP has appropriate human resources and infrastructures. Our services to the industry in terms of quality control, certification, research, environment sustainability, industrial organization, and investment projects are recognized. Training is also an important activity. We perform over 250 different tests according to international, European, and national standards, namely ISTM or GB. The lab is accredited according to the ISO standard 17250, and the test reports are accepted worldwide. CTCP does all the tests needed to verify the standard requirements and certificate personal protective footwear. Regarding materials, the most important requirements to check are the upper, lining, and sole materials resistance to abrasion, repeated flexion, and tear. Our industry can give a fundamental contribution to reduce the footwear environment footprint by using materials that have adequate durability. Abrasion, flexing, and tear resistance are straightforward tests and are critical to ensure and claim durability. A strategic contribution to increase footwear environment sustainability is done by choosing materials that are bio-based, lightweight, and/or recycled. CTCP and Portuguese materials, components, and footwear manufacturers make continuous investments in the research of new green materials. These include bioleathers, incorporating no metals treated with products of vegetable or animal origin that are subproducts of the food industry, and lightweight or recycled soles incorporating production wastes, like the ones developed in the frame of the national research project named FAMOUS. An additional very important topic is to make sure that chemical substances potentially harmful for people and the environment are absent or well below the regulated limits. CTCP has experience and highly trained professionals, being also fully equipped with advanced equipment to analyze the critical substances potentially present in all footwear materials. Regarding the whole footwear basic requirements, I would like to highlight 3 topics. The importance of implementing a program to monitor and check the upper sole bond strength, meaning the force required to separate the upper from the outsole. Meeting or exceeding the requirements is fundamental to ensure the product quality and the protection of the users. Another relevant aspect is the footwear slip resistance. slipping, tripping, and falling are the main causes of accidents on the work environment, leading to injuries and absence to work. Slip resistance testing is the science of measuring the coefficient of friction, meaning the resistance to slip of the sole bottom and the floor in the presence of liquids. Today, most of the shoes are tested on a ceramic tile wetted with a diluted soap solution and also on a smooth steel plate wetted with glycerol. This allows that they achieve the highest slip resistance rating, that is SRC. The chemical composition of the sole, the cleats, the harness, the footwear bottom shape, among others, are critical. This is an area where CTCP and manufacturers like AMF SAFETY SHOES and ALOFT have invested in research to meet and exceed the requirements. In what concerns safety footwear, determining the resistance of the two regions against impact is critical. The footwear design and its components, especially the protective toe cap, give a relevant contribution to absorb the high impact energy. There are two main types of protective toe caps: metallic or polymeric. Both meet the requirements. The metallics tend to be thinner, heavier, and cheaper. The polymeric are lighter, don't conduct heat or cold, thus contributing to the wearer's comfort. Regarding footwear for special applications, I warranty that if incorporates a performing anti-penetration insert, gives you access to certify the most desired products. The anti-penetration inserts are embedded during the manufacturing process between the insole and the outsole and shall not be removed without damaging or destroying the shoe. Two main types of materials are used for these inserts: stainless steel and aramid fabrics. The choice depends on your needs and targets. Steel inserts are cheaper, thinner, and resist the penetration of very sharp nails. The aramid materials also meet the requirements, are more flexible and lightweight, and don't conduct cold, heat, or electricity, contributing to the wearer comfort. CTCP participates in the European and ISO standards development. At this moment, the standards are in the revision, and penetration resistance is one of the hot topics where some changes will be introduced. Including in your product resistance to water and others, if relevant, will contribute to top performance and sales. The waterproof performance is tested with wear trials or on a dynamic machine, being this last one the more expedite. The footwear is fixed onto a mechanical foot, set into a container of water and flexed, while the penetration of water is analyzed at intervals. Today, advances in footwear product construction and engineering and high-performance upper materials and membranes ensure water resistance, breathability for releasing sweat, and insulation, namely in snowy or windy conditions. Besides the test to fulfill concrete standards, CTCP provides services with state-of-the-art technologies, helping our clients to present innovative products to the market. For this purpose, we keep long-term partnerships with clients, research institutes, and technology equipment providers. Over 90% of our physical and safety test equipments are fully developed and produced in Portugal. We will be glad to have you as our partners, so that we can enlarge our added value community. Considering emerging certification trends, I will now introduce you to the footwear environment footprint evaluation. Current patterns of economic and social development are placing pressures upon natural resources and may threaten the health and prosperity not only of humans but of life on the earth in general. In recognition of these concerns, the Portuguese footwear cluster defined and is implementing an holistic action plan towards sustainability. One important step towards sustainability in footwear and allied trade industries is to measure and tune the environment impact a product makes through its life cycle. This is done applying product life cycle assessment methodologies. In this context, the European Commission is developing the Footwear Environment Footprint Methodology, designated PEF in short. A PEF study is essentially a standardized evaluation that aims at ensuring that environmental information is comparable and reliable and can be used confidently by both business partners and consumers. CTCP is leading the European project Live Green Shoes for All, aiming to apply this methodology to footwear. The project involves European trade associations, research partners, and companies, namely AMF SAFETY SHOES. This method makes it easier to develop and produce footwear with less environmental impact. The method assesses 16 impact categories, namely climate change, acid rain, or human and ecotoxicity. So, how can we estimate the footwear environment footprint? Applying the PEF methodology to footwear involves essentially 3 steps. First, define the functional unit. In this case, 1 pair of shoes including packaging. Second, collect data, namely the composition and weight of the materials employed for the manufacture of the shoes, the amount of water and energy consumed, and production waste. Third, select the appropriate calculation tools, insert the data, and estimate the values for the 16 impact categories. We are continuously conducting evaluations in representative footwear models ranging from fashion to safety footwear. Based on these results, it's clear that reducing the mass of the materials, selecting lower environment footprint materials, and reducing the waste generated during the manufacturing of footwear will have a great effect on the reduction of the footwear environment footprint. To this end, as most of the environmental impact is decided during the design and development phases of the footwear products, the implementation of eco-design approaches will bring several benefits to the footwear business companies. To reduce its product's footprint, a company's plan could include the following actions: design footwear to reduce the number of different materials used, preferably select light, bio-based, recycled or recyclable materials and components from local suppliers, apply efficient, digitalized production processes with low energy consumption and reduce emissions and wastes. Make footwear lighter and durable, easier to repair and/or recycle. To extend the use stage of the product, minimize the consumption of resources and the impact at the end of life of the product, it's important to consider designing for disassembly, recycling, reuse, recover, biodegradability, composting, among other approaches. Using PEF, these and other actions may be evaluated and tuned, enabling sustainable choices to be made and promoting the creation, production and use of truly green shoes towards a bio-circular economy. We invite you to join us in this new walk, leading sustainable innovations. Many thanks for your attention.
Yes, as I mentioned, the certification process of APICCAPS is supported by digital tools, so this facilitates and accelerates the whole process. There is a very good relation between the APICCAPS and CTCP labs, and this makes that the process is very fast. And one of the characteristics of our lab is to really give a reliable, short time, fast response to the clients. The average time to certify an S3 model, that as you know is the highest safety category, is around 3 weeks, maximum 4 weeks. But in the case of occupational footwear, for example, the time can be 1 week. So I think it's a very good time and allows the companies to present their collections to the fairs and to the clients in quite a short time. So please contact us if you need. Another question from Semil Kandan. Now we need to send several sizes to test and certify a design. Is it possible to certify one new prototype sample for personal testing and pre-sales promotion marketing? Because maybe I'm making a lot of sizes which are not good enough to pass, and my target group wants some changes. If the market responds well on the prototype, further investment in a molding on a second test for all, well, from what I understand here, yes, it's okay to do a pre-test. I should say that the most demanding tests are the ones that normally present more difficulty to pass are the slip resistance, are the perforation of the insert, if it's a safety footwear, also the impact resistance of the toe cap. So I would advise you to make, for example, the middle size of your footwear and to do these 3 tests at least. When you pass these 3 tests, you can enlarge the range of tests and we can advise you which are the ones that you could do in each stage. And then when the shoe is already passed, that one, you can prepare the others. Because to certify a product, you need to test 3 numbers: the smallest number of the product collection, the middle number, and the highest number. So, but in any case, if you do like this, first you test the middle number. This will not be a waste of time nor an investment that is not going to be recovered. Thank you. Have more questions. Hello, can I custom my products to be certified? This is coming from Sergei Takachenko. Many thanks. I would like to say to all of you that now the standards are being revised. So the next standards, ISO 2345 and the others also, will allow you to certify customized products. Customized, if you have a specific need, you will be able to certify this product and to offer to your clients really customized products that are certified. If you need more information on this, please contact us. I can say that the standards will publish next year, but we have already a lot of data that we'd like to share with you. I'd like at this stage just to give an important information that a part or additional to customized products, the future standard will have some differences, and one of the main differences is regarding protective inserts. the tests to pass are not more demanding, but are more specific. In case you are putting a protective insert made in steel or in metal, the test is different from if you are using the Kevlar ones. So please contact us if you need. I will pass to the next question from Walter Mesquita. When do you think that will be the time where we'll have EU markings for environment compliance, bio-based, vegan, among others? Well, many thanks also for this question. At European level, we are working on this. The Commission is very committed, and our institute and many others are collaborating on this. Of course, this is a very complex process, but in the near future, I think that we will have some rules to make environmental claims. This is a subject that is going on and is being really worked out at this moment, and this will be soon. Another point is the footwear environment footprint that is going on, as I mentioned in my presentation. And in this case, we can already begin to make this estimation of the environment footprint of the products. In the near future, this could have a small revision, but you don't lose nothing by beginning now. So we would really advise and invite all of you to collaborate and to do the estimation of your environmental footprint of your products. In the frame of the project that I mentioned during the presentation, the Live Green Shoes for All, we are doing these to certain models completely for free, so please contact me. Another question coming from Philippe Martins. You mentioned new bio-leathers. Are they tanned with chromium? Can work footwear apply leathers without chromium? Well, thank you so much. Yes, this is also a very interesting question. Everybody during the whole conference talked a lot about sustainability, talked about chrome and the problem of chromium tanned leather. This may not be a problem at all, because when we really make the environmental footprint estimation of leather, we see that chromium tanned leather don't has a lower performance than others. In fact, if we compare chromium tanned leather with some wet white leathers, we see the carbon footprint are the same. In any case, of course, regarding recycling and many other aspects, this can be a topic. And so if you choose to go to leathers without chromium, for sure there are already in the market products that you can use in safety footwear. Naturally, that you need to look to the production process and to the end use for that footwear, but with certain tuning, this can be a reality in just in this moment. Regarding the leathers that I mentioned, some of them we are developing new leathers with chromium and without chromium, and in this case we are applying, for example, fats that are coming from the natural sources, and that are not applied anymore, cannot be applied anymore in the human or animal alimentation, animal food, and that's why we are valorizing them to prepare leathers. Also, we are valorizing, for example, chestnuts that can be some innovative approach, and even, for example, collecting effluents, liquid effluents from the paper industry, and these effluents are having tanning agents that can be used to tan or retan leathers. So there is a lot of things going on at worldwide and also here in Portugal, namely in the project Famous that we are now ending, and these products are already going to the market already. So if you need more information, please contact me. Also at this stage, I would like to mention that some results, maybe some of you have some research results that need a step to go to the market, and that today there are programs in Portugal, but also at European level. New calls will be launched next year, and also, for example, an European project named the ELIT will launch calls next year. So if you need support to launch your products into the market, if you need an innovation stage, please contact us. Regarding a new question from Christian Decker, I like your question as it's not easy, especially for safety shoes. Also, thank you, Christian, for responding. Luis Cruz, you mentioned recycled materials, namely for in socks and sole parts. Can they be applied in safety footwear? Oh yes, we can. Of course, the compositions and the formulations need to be tuned, need to be adjusted, need to be the right ones. Also, the shape of the components need to be adequate. But this is a possibility, and during this event, amazing event, we saw the examples by ALOFT and also by AMF SAFETY SHOES and TOWORKFOR that are already using these recycled materials and components in the safety footwear that is certified. So for sure, it's possible. It's the new reality. It's really a contribution to, let's say, the circular economy. We are thinking, and they are thinking from the beginning how to make things regenerated, how regenerating the waste that we produce at the production stage and also a post-consumer use. In your video, new question, Maria Rajonizo says, in your video there is a shoe that seemed to biodegrade with short time. What was this material? Oh, thank you for this question. Yes, this is a real shoe that we have here in our facilities, and at this stage I invite you with some safety measures and by pre-booking to visit our center, our exposition, our labs, and in the future when this new situation has been solved, all of you are welcome within very short notice to visit us and to experience what we have here. And yes, this material is leather. It is a leather, it is a wet white leather, has no metals at all, and it biodegrades in very, very short time under composting conditions. So one of the shoes you see there has already some years and is no problems at all, and only under composting conditions, so meaning you have a high concentration of microorganisms, of water and temperature that are the conditions that develop in a compost, either it's in an industrial facility or if you have a composter at your home, you will have that conditions, and only in that conditions the shoe will biodegrade. So the leather, that material is leather, is 100% leather. That material that's coming from the earth will return to the earth. An additional aspect, has characteristics that even are promoting the quality of the soil. So it's a good recycling, an easy one. Thank you, Sofia Lima, for the congrats and for the question for new sustainable materials, which will be the standard for certification, or it will be the same but with some modification. Regarding the certification of footwear, safety footwear, the standard is the same. So if you want to certify footwear, we have these standards that are going on. What we can have on top of this certification or in parallel with this certification is like other product certifications. And at this stage, and because we are are in the frame of the programs that the Commission is putting in place, we would suggest to look very well at Green Claims Initiative, and that claims will be supported by applying the product environment footprint methodology that I explained during presentation. That is why it's so advisable that you begin to apply these methodologies to your product. And this is no more no less than a life cycle analysis, but in which the Commission sets certain rules in order that if you are applying this method and another colleague, another company is applying the same method, the results are really more comparable. So you are comparing things that are supported by the same data, by the same results that are coming into the tools. This data, defining this data set is very important in order that everybody has the same results, or at least very similar results. And it's a real benefit for our industry, for our companies to apply these in earlier stages. Thank you. Another point is what's the influence of the SAFE into testing procedures? Christian Decker. Hi, Christian, thank you so much. Well, the HIG index, in what regards these environmental aspects that I mentioned, is running in parallel to the product environment footprint. And in fact, this is a work going on at European level, is a joint footwear and apparel, and SAC, the Sustainable Apparel Coalition, is working on this together with many other companies, with several companies, and also associations, namely the SEC, the European Footwear Confederation, and COTANS, the Leather Confederation in Europe, and so on. So this is a work that is going on, and we are confident that we will build a unique process that will accommodate all these standard HIG index and others that are now in the market. But of course, the diversity, even in this case, and in all the cases, I think is positive. So having different methods is not a problem. It's even positive, and will give us new insights. So we hope that we can work together on this. A new question from Marion Meza. Chemical tests are important for the safety of humans and environment, but there are many different tests. How can we choose the more appropriate? Well, thank you, Marion. Yes, that's true. Yes, there are a lot of tests, and also the names of the tests are quite complicated. What I can say is that we can help you depending on the material, on the product use, on the legislation, on the country where you want to put your products, and also considering trends like this one that I'm talking about, the product environment footprint and green claims. So considering everything, we can help you to define the tests, decide which tests are relevant, because this depends on materials and so on. We can also collaborate with you to make a plan, an holistic plan, because normally the footwear manufacturer don't have to do all the tests. You have a supply chain, so we can help you with declarations, so which substances you could trust to receive information only by declarations. Also, which ones could you ask, or we will suggest you to ask your suppliers to send you tests that they make. And in certain substances, and this is quite a reduced number, you can do tests. You should do tests to control. And doing this, you will build confidence, and you will be able to show your customers that you are really fulfilling, and even more than fulfilling the requirements, you are above that requirements. You are prepared for the future. Maybe another point, and our clients ask us a lot about in this is, okay, and what if the test fails? What if I have a substance that is above limits, above my limits, above my legislation, whatever? We can help you identify why. So why is this substance above? And also help you to solve the issue, because we are mainly chemists here, so we can really give you a support on solving the problem. And this, of course, applies not only to the chemical substances, but also to physical tests, to mechanical tests, to the footwear tests, for example, slip resistant, how to improve this. Has to deal, as I mentioned, the presentation with a lot of issues, and we have a team of complementary technicians, they're not the lab technicians, to give this support to you. And so we will be very glad to do that. Another question. Thank you, Eric Engelbert. Today and also in the previous days of the conference, we heard a lot about footwear sustainability and also about circularity. From the point of view of product, what can we do to be sustainable and circular? Thank you so much for this question. This is a big question because it has a lot of topics on it, but I will try to be short. Well, I think from the point of view of the product itself, it's very important, the eco-design, first, and of course to measure, so to estimate the environment footprint. Second, to choose the adequate materials and components. Third, to have an efficient ecological production. And fourth, to act on the regeneration, the recycling, I will say this word, but it's more on the regeneration, because in the circular economy you have a closed loop, so the materials are regenerating other materials and other components. So the regeneration of the production waste and also of the post-consumer waste, so the usage shoes. Regarding eco-design, there are some of the issues were mentioned today during the panel. For example, durability, and all these tests that already are done in safety footwear are guaranteeing this durability. Also, the designs need to be fashion, need to be beautiful, need to be appellative, but at the same time intemporal, so you can use it for a long time. Even in the case of safety footwear, there's a lot of investment in a new collection, so it's important to develop a product that can be certified and last for a long time, so that you have the certification for 5 years or 10 years, and you also still have the product good sales, because this is a beautiful product and appellative product and intemporal. Of course, we are been talking always about the absence of chemical critical substances that need to be eliminated, the function and comfort, we talked about this during the panel. Also very important is the lightweight. It has to be as light as possible, because this is the main parameter that enters in the equations of the environment footprint calculation. So please try to use the minimum amount of material, and when you select the material, to be lightweight. If possible, to be repaired, reutilized, recycled, and here during the panel we listen a lot about the recycling, and what can we say regarding recycling? It's quite important, for example, to mention at this stage that thermoplastic materials can already be recycled, the thermoplastics that are coming from the production and footwear itself, and can be recycled in a way that we have materials with good properties. So we are not having recycle with low quality, we have good performance recycled thermoplastic materials. There is also materials, composites, that can incorporate leather, that can incorporate other things like EVA, polyurethane, and so on, rubber, and these composites can be applied either in soles or inner soles or in socks. So there's a lot of things we can already do. Here the more demanding aspect, more difficult aspect is really the logistic that is needed to do this recycling, and I think we will be talking about a lot about this in the future, and I launch to you the challenge of and to all of us of doing this, because this will really give a good contribute. Regarding materials, we talked about a lot, because why materials are so important? Because they represent 50 to 70% in many cases of the environment footprint of the product. So choosing materials that are recycled, that are recyclable, that are bio-based, that have by their own intrinsic low environment footprint is very important. A new trend, and that is a trend for the future, is the traceability of the materials. This will and is important already, but will be very important, and in the future we will be working a lot on this to ensure the consumer and ensure the whole value chain. Where are these materials coming from? This is very important, for example, for leather, but not only. So I think that this is a must. Regarding production, there's many measures that we can talk about, but I think I will let you ask and contact me in the future to enter in these measures more in detail. I will try to advance in the questions. Christian, try to at least single weight water certification. Yes, you are right. It's very important to have a unique certification, and this is including the safety, the social environment. There are some mechanisms to do this, and I fully agree with you that this is important in order to avoid repetition. And I like to tell you that here in Portugal we are already doing this kind of audits to the companies and issuing kind of certificates to ensure to show that they are fulfilling demanding criteria regarding these topics. And I think by this question, because our target is really to avoid repetitions, to avoid that the company have to do the same thing several times for different clients and so on. So this is the best. Camille asks, when will the standards change? They will change, yes, in 2021. Yes. Another question. Many thanks for the comments from Stefan Rever. Philip Markin's question, all leather look the same. How can we know if they have chromium? Okay, thank you. Yes, they all look the same. Well, there are different kind of tests that we can do to see if they have chromium. Some tests involve, let's say, grinding material, extracting and doing analysis, and these are, well, take some days. But you can also apply, and we have them here, very straightforward tests in which they are screening tests. They are done with a technology that is called HDXRF. It's like an X-ray, let's say, and we can measure, we can detect and quantify to a certain extent the metals that are there. So if you want to see if leather has chromium, aluminum, or other metals, for example, cadmium, plumb, even organostatic materials have stains, so you can make a screen, and this is done in few hours and is very inexpensive. So there are some technologies now also that are quite straightforward and that can support you in this, and we will be happy to assist to you. Another question from Stefan Haken. You can do cooking tests Boiling water if does not strain more than 2, then it is chrome tan. Oh yes, this is a contribution to this answer that I just gave. Yes, is the leather retraction method. Yes, thank you. Another contribution from Stefan explaining the characteristics of leathers. Yes, I'd like to add that regarding these temperatures of retraction, the retraction temperature, so the temperature at which material retracts, these are very important data regarding the tuning of the production process in footwear and also regarding the use of the footwear. And nowadays we are working with leather companies here in Portugal, and for example, going back to the question of the biodegradable leather that we saw in that shoe, this is a wet tanned leather, is not formaldehyde, is glutaldehyde tanned based, and has a higher retraction temperature. So it's already very easy to work with this material in the footwear production. It's biodegradable, and now there are some innovations putting it on top of it, and has some resistance to water. I think many of you know that to make leather water resistance, there are some additives, some chemicals that are, and also chromium helps to increase the resistance to water. But now we have this new material that is no chromium at all and has already some water resistance, so you can use it while you are running in the rain, but this of course is not waterproof. Thank you so much for these suggestions. Okay, so we have here many comments. So at this stage, I think we have answered to all the questions. I will wait 1 minute, 1 second more, and I see no question. So I will end the seminar. I would like to thank you all so much for attending today. And it was a real pleasure to have you on board and to answer to your questions. Please contact with us for the future. Since today is the last day, I'd like to close and thank you so much to all of you, to all the authorities, to all the speakers, to all the participants. You made this event possible. Your contribution is fundamental. I'd like also to really thank and congratulate AMF SAFETY SHOES, ALOFT, TOWORKFOR for this huge, amazing, spectacular event. Very special thanks to the responsibles, Albano Fernando, Domingos Almeida, Pedro Castro, and Orlando. Thank you so much for being our friends, for being my friends, and for having done this amazing work. Goodbye, see you soon, thank you so much, and keep safe. Bye-bye.